from a family of educators, Mubanga and Inez own and operate Love of Learning Tutoring, LLC. The company has been in business since 2019 in Marion and Volusia counties in Florida. Services are also provided online. While the company is relatively new, Mubanga and Inez have continued to educate others individually. Inez has a bachelor's in business administration with a master's degree in media and communications and has been teaching in the collegiate sector since 2013 as an adjunct professor. She has taught public speaking, communications, a portfolio course, and English to Chinese students. Mubanga studied biochemistry with a pre-med emphasis and tutored at Andrews University in reasoning with functions, calculus 1, general and organic chemistry, physics, and biology. In 2019, he took a leap of faith and opened Love of Learning Tutoring, LLC. Since the opening of Love of Learning, there has not been a want for clients. His specialty is math and the sciences, and he tutors students from elementary to college. In addition, he prepares students for completion of high school with their GED, college entrance exams, SAT and ACT, and medical school entrance exam, MCAT. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming to the podium Mubanga and Inez.
All right, welcome. And I'd like to share a little bit background, especially when I think about as a young person, when you look at a tutor or a teacher, you think that they were born experts, like they've always been good at what they do. But the truth is that everyone has a beginning. And today I will talk to you about my beginning and how God has led. And so to start with, every person has a longing in their heart, a longing to find purpose and meaning, because God created us for a reason. And throughout a person's journey, there is always that turning point, that watershed moment when the pieces come together and you find your God-given purpose. You read in the Bible, Jesus was at the age of 12. He went to the temple, and as he witnessed what was going on, he realized that he was that Lamb of God. And for me, that moment of finding purpose came when I was about 9 years old, and I had been sick for over a year. I was sick for over a year and I missed school, and the doctors did not know what the problem was. And my condition kept getting worse until one Sunday afternoon, I got to a point where I was on the precipice of death. And to help you understand what's going on here is I come from a poor country in Africa called Zambia. So healthcare is not that good. So throughout that entire year when I was sick, I wasn't getting any medical help. So my condition was just getting worse. And so I was just sick at home. And I got to a point where I knew I was going to die. And I was at peace with it. But my parents did not give up on me. And I saw my parents praying. And miraculously, that Sunday afternoon, it is etched on my mind. God touched me and healed me. And my life changed. I knew that God had extended my life for a reason. And I wanted to do something profound with my life. I wanted to make a difference in people's lives. But I had missed so much learning that when I went back to school, I was struggling academically. I couldn't even read. And I continued to struggle until I was in 7th grade. I couldn't read until 6th grade. And in 7th grade, my family got me a tutor. And this was my first contact with a tutor. My family got me a tutor, and I wasn't the only student there. There were other students. But long story short, my tutor transformed my life to the point that I was able to rise to the top of my group from a struggling student. But through this tutor, God helped elevate or helped me academically. This was in 7th grade. Fast forward, in 8th grade, I started struggling again. So in 9th grade, my parents got me a math tutor. And another teacher at my school noticed how committed I was to learning, and he offered to help me free of charge. And so 2 tutors were working with me, and they both impacted my life so much that I was able to be selected to get into the top high school in my country. So again, I experienced God using tutors to help me. And from then on, I took off, and God blessed me, the point that when I graduated high school, I was not only one of the top students at my school, but I was one of the top students in the whole country. And I was given a scholarship to study in Russia. Again, it is because of the work of the tutors. So I go to Russia, and there in Russia now, I have some students who are struggling, and they start coming to me for help. So now I'm the one tutoring. So I started tutoring students in engineering, drawing. And when I moved to the United States, I'm studying biochemistry with the intention of going to medical school. And students are struggling again in science and mathematics. So my college professors started noticing my gifts, and they recommended me to be one of the head tutors at Andrews University. So I was hired to tutor mathematics and physiology, biology, chemistry, about 6 different classes. But all through this journey, I'm making some side, but I did not see that tutoring can be used as a business. It was just something I was using to get by and to help students. I moved to Knoxville, and that's when I got my first opportunity to work with a full-time tutoring business. And after Knoxville, I moved to Florida. And again, I was hired to work for different tutoring companies. But I still, in my mind, I didn't look or think of, doing tutoring full-time until I started noticing that clients were asking for me directly. They were asking me to work with them. And the tutoring companies they were getting more clients because of the work that I was doing for them. And that's when I started noticing that tutoring can actually be a business. But the main turning point was in 2000 and I believe 2018, when I was working for a school, and we took the students to an ice cream place. And while there, the students met a friend of theirs who didn't go to our school, and they got in trouble. That young man brought weed. I don't know if you guys know what that is. And so they got caught smoking weed, and he was going to be in big trouble. But that week, my family and I were talking about the importance of redemption. And so I quickly jumped in, and I realized that if this young man got in trouble, there was no redemption in this story. So I quickly intervened and took the young man aside. And I realized that he was lost, and I genuinely desired to help him. So I spoke with him and I gave him my card. I told him that, if you are lost and you need somebody to talk to, here's my card. Get in touch with me and I would love to have a conversation with you man to man and see how we can navigate what you're dealing with. I moved on, and a few months later, I received a phone call from the young man's father. And what I didn't know was that in me showing kindness to this young man, I was getting connected to some very influential people in the community. And this young man's father was one of the wealthiest people in the area. And he heard how I showed kindness to his son. And so he asked me if I could work with the young man. And that's when I started working with him one-on-one. And I used to meet him at the library. And one day, while going to meet him, something happened. And I'm going to share this short part of this story from the other person who is involved in this story. So before I went to the library, another lady, a single mom, was praying to God for help because her children were struggling academically and she needed help. And as she was driving from her work, she told me that she heard a voice tell her to go to the library. And that's how she turned. And as she was parked outside the library, that's when she saw me coming into the library, rushing into the library. And she was thinking to herself, like, wait, this short man rushing to the library, like who rushes to the library? And that caught her curiosity. And so she came in to see what this short man was doing. And that's when she heard me, she saw me tutor. And she was amazed by how thorough and how I was interacting with the young man. I wasn't condescending. We were conversing. He was asking questions. And God allowed me to break things down for him. And long story short, she decided to ask me to work with her children. Her children, they were struggling academically. And by God's grace, I worked with her son and daughter who are now attending top universities in Florida. And it was through this woman, after the work I did with her, that she was able to bring more clients to me. And she connected me to other parents. And that's when I realized that God was calling me to do tutoring full-time. I started to see the possibility of tutoring as a full-time business. And but I did not go into tutoring intending to be a tutor. But as I look back on my journey, I see things that God used and how God brought me to this point. And that's what my wife is going to share now. The lessons that I learned, the lesson that we learned that you can use now to start a tutoring business if you so intend.
Can you guys hear me okay? All right, good. Something that I've learned along the way is we realize that there's an open market out there that people aren't tapping into. And it's interesting that one of the keynote speakers mentioned something just before lunch, where she said she recommends always working with someone younger than you. That's the same goal with tutoring. So if you guys are in high school, you could actually start a business now tutoring elementary school. Get my point? So what we learned and what we realized is that students were not learning in school, not to the same capacity that they could. And they were always in need of additional assistance when they got home because they did not understand how to do their homework and their parents didn't understand either. So they needed someone. There was missing concepts that they didn't have. And we found out people were really willing to pay. They are willing to pay for your time. There are tutoring companies out there that charges over $89, $90 for 1 hour of tutoring for one session. So we realized we could be smarter than that. We don't have to charge and make all our money off of one client. But what if we were half the price of those tutoring companies? What if we started out at $50? And we actually start out lower. We started out at about $30. And so, of course, we filled up rapidly because people knew the prices of what tutoring was going for. With the increase of gas, we, of course, realized that we probably should go higher. And so we did. But we'll talk about the money aspect later. But we realized those three things. Students weren't learning, concepts were missing, and people are willing to pay. So we started, as my husband was being led in this field, we started realizing that God took us down a path without us going through all the steps. So what I'm sharing is the steps that we learned as we were doing our journey, okay? If you will go back in time to Aristotle and Socrates and all the other educated people, they all had one thing in common, and that is they had a tutor. And that one tutor is what helped them learn throughout their life. That's what we're going back to, it seems like, because the educational system is not giving the students everything that they needed. We also realized we could focus on two key areas. This is when I started asking God, I'm praying a lot more because I've always been tutoring and teaching. And I was actually, at the time my husband started the company, I was tutoring, teaching English to students in China. So I was an independent contractor for Dada ABC. And so I had my own niche. I was doing my own thing. And it's very nice, very lucrative field as well. So when we realized that there was an open market for it, we started with just a few business cards, not even a big deal. And so we would pass them out to people. But basically, his name was out there. My name got out there, and it was a word of mouth. So when we say step one, you draft a business strategy, it doesn't mean the old school way of writing out paper, pencil, what I'm going to do step by step, overhead costs. There's a whole lot of confusing things with a business plan. But for tutoring, the joy of it is that people are wanting you instantly. And so your strategy is just understanding, what can I do, and what do I want to accomplish, and how will I accomplish it? What do I want to tutor, and who do I want to tutor? So funny thing is, you can understand that you can start off with elementary and middle school children. You could actually focus on children that are wanting to learn to read, which is kindergarten, first grade. So finding that niche is important. And so you have to ask yourself, who will you tutor? For us, it came to us in the sense that my husband was good at the math and sciences. And so it was very easy for him to get clients. People were calling left and right, people we don't even know. We heard you from so-and-so. Can you tutor our kids? And so as a residual, they would realize that I did English. And so it was like, oh, then I would get some feedback off of that from English. What people are not realizing is that there's only two subjects in this world. And you guys are getting that secret. There's only two. If you know math and you know English, that is all. Science, social studies, history, anything else is built upon those foundational pieces. So if you have math and you have English, you can pretty much tutor anybody. It's just understanding how to do it. So step two is understanding, who do you want to tutor and what subjects. Now, I just gave you the secret. If you are good with math and English, you can pretty much start tutoring, even today. Sciences are necessary as well, but they are built on a foundation. So you have to do some studying to make sure that you thoroughly understood the sciences so that you could have math, English, and science as a base for tutoring. Do you want to tutor homeschoolers? Do you want to focus on special needs? Now, I have unfortunately dealt with special needs students. I shouldn't say unfortunately. It's not unfortunate. It's unfortunate that it's difficult to deal with them. And so I would say if you were going to dive into special needs, you would need to get additional certification or training so that you know how to impact them. I don't deal with special needs. My husband and I, we don't tutor special needs. He has dealt with a few kids that had autism, if I'm not mistaken, right, honey? Yes, he's dealt with some students that had autism. And so they're learning, they do learn, but you do have to understand how to deal with them and the patience level dealing with that. There's college students, there's test prep. Obviously, you guys are not in college yet, so you would not be tutoring college or test prep things of that nature, no. However, you have a golden opportunity even with elementary, middle school children. And it sounds crazy, but kindergarten, first grade, you will be amazed at how many parents don't teach their kids how to read, don't teach their kids alphabets. Yeah, I know. Amia's looking like, are you serious? I'm absolutely serious, Amia. So you have a niche right there because they don't have the time to teach their kids. And so their kids are coming to school, can't even spell their name. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous, but it's serious. It's true. It's happening. So now you have to ask, how will I tutor? You guys have this easy. You're little, you're young. I say little in my eyes, but you're just young people here. Most of you don't have a license and you probably won't be getting them for another couple of years. And then I really wouldn't even recommend tutoring in person at your young age unless you were at a facility like a library, which is how we started. We would go to the library and have our clients meet us there at the library. It was a very safe environment. COVID happened. Now no one wants to go to the library anymore. So we open up online, and then we also, my husband still sees quite a few people face to face. I see a few students face to face. I prefer online because of my busy schedule. So you have to understand some key things though here is saving money. So if you're starting a business, there's usually overhead costs, not really with tutoring. If you're tutoring online and you already have a computer, you already pay for internet, your parents probably already pay for internet, you can start your business just like that. Just make sure you have a way for people to pay you, such as Zelle or what's the other place?
Cash
Yeah,
App.
Venmo, Cash App. Yes, I'm reading lips. Yes, you have there are different platforms to get payment. Be serious with payment. Don't play. After a session, they pay. They don't pay, you don't tutor next. Okay. There are many people, we learned the hard way. We got burned real bad when we first started in our business. This lady had like 5 kids. I'm not even going to go into the details. We tutored them for about a week and she never paid. Okay. Yeah, Amia. That's why you be serious. You can love people and be kind to people, but no money, no tutor. Okay. You can even set it up where people pay first. It just depends on your business and how well people get to know you. And so this is key information here. So how will you tutor? You want to know that. Budgeting. Budgeting is good because sometimes people want to do other things. You want to start a physical location. I don't recommend it. We haven't had to do that. As of yet, we don't have a facility where people come to us. That may be something in the long term if we decide to continue tutoring, but you do need educational supplies. That's number 3 on this list. Some people may do marketing. I will let you know that what we did has all been word of mouth. Not a cent has gone into marketing except for printing some business cards. So, but keep that in mind because, you may have to put aside a little of your money, $20 to put your business cards out there. But do you need educational supplies? Yes, I go to Dollar Tree for my educational supplies. I have my little booklet thingy right here. This is what I take when I go tutoring. Okay, get this from the Dollar Tree, just a little flip thing. And then inside here, since I tutor mostly elementary students and I focus on English, I have my little erase board. Okay. I have my little dry erase board. So there's little expenses that you need so that you can teach your students and that you can work with them. I get all my material from K5 Learning and or some other free websites. So that way, when I go there, I have material that I'm teaching the students. It's awesome. So budgeting is key. Everything I do is very low key. And it's easy to maintain. So I want to make sure that when they do talk about planning and research. You just want to know who's out there. And the planning and research needs to be how much are they charging and undercut them. That's it. Because if you undercut them, you get all their clients. See, they're $100, you're $75. Y'all are laughing, but I'm serious. So that's your planning and research, okay? So, and then you understand like your area. Who is it? Do you hire new tutors? We have not hired a new tutors, because if we can't reach the people, we don't do it, because many times you'll hire someone, but they don't have the same ethics as you. They don't have the same principles that you have. And so you give your business a bad name. So until you are fully established, you really wouldn't need to hire anyone else at that time. So this is something, you guys, if you need more information, I can share this slide with you all. Step 7 is marketing strategy. Really just go to local schools, parent associations, libraries. Just let your name know. I'm out there, I'm helping young kids learn how to read. And they'll think you guys are so adorable and cute. You will probably get kindergarten, first graders out the wazoo, because it's easy. You guys are just darling. You're young. That's what's on your side. Use it to your advantage, okay? And then we did not do a website. We still don't have a website. We did not do online advertisements. If you do these things, you'll just grow faster. That's it. We did it. We did all of word of mouth. That's how our whole business has started and continues. So I'm going to just want you to keep something in mind. If you tutor at your house, you want extra insurance, because you don't want anyone trying to sue you for their kid falling down the stairs as they were leaving. Crazy things can happen, guys. So that's just something we did not know. And luckily we live too far out, so we don't have anyone come to our house for tutoring. I did do it once, but it didn't. I usually go to the people's houses or libraries or something like that. Educate yourself. Know the material that you're teaching. They do say invest in seminars and workshops. The only way I would do that is so that you have a technique to know your style of teaching. So that way you are confident when you go to other places, or your parents are going to watch, they're going to listen. Okay. But keep in mind something that's very important, and that supersedes knowledge. Knowledge is key. I can't shy on that, because you can't tutor without knowledge, but you always want to be positive and courteous. Remember, people are looking at you. If you're being told by word of mouth, that means you're making a name for yourself. And this name is going to be what people will see and what they know. Be a person of honesty and integrity at all times. If I only tutor once, I don't charge them for twice. I'm just honest, and we're honest in what we do. And just remember that your business belongs to God. That's key. So I am going to open it up for questions. Any questions that you guys might have, because I don't want us to run out of time and get kicked out of the room. So does anyone have any questions regarding what we've talked about thus far with tutoring, and how you, even at your young age, could even potentially start a tutoring business? Now, I can't see everyone, so please let me know if someone else is raising their hand.
Quick question. I raised my hand, but
Yes.
how many students do you have? How many students are you able to attend to with your schedule?
Okay, so I've limited mine. I have 3, and I like to keep 3. For me is a nice sweet spot. At one point, I did have about 7, but remember that tutoring happens after school. So it's usually from 3:30, and then prime time is usually about 4 to 5, 5 to 6, and then 7 to 8. So if you go to a library, those, depending on how late your library stays open, you can get that prime time and have students come to you back to back without losing any downtime. If you're online, you can go all evening until 8 o'clock and have your own cap. And you could see easily about 4 to 5 students in the evening. My husband sees a whole lot more than that. So he sees a lot more than that. His students will be waiting for him at 8 o'clock at night. So when is tutoring? Yes. I don't even know I think the latest he might have tutored was from 9 to 10.
Okay. Nice. So that's an hour interval.
There are times when, especially when exams are coming up and the college students, there have been times I tutored till 11:30. Yeah, because
past bedtime, way past.
Unfortunately, yeah. But
Okay.
that just shows that the demand is really high. Like I even have students on the waiting list now.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Ariana has a question.
Yes, Ariana.
When you were making your name known, did you ever give out your personal number or a personal email, or did you have something separate for people to contact you with?
No, we did everything personal. For you all, it's really simple to put in a separate Gmail account for strict for business, and route them to a different number. You even can do a Google phone number so that people have a way of contacting you that is also free. So I always look for, I'm very resourceful. I like to look for free things. Google Meet is a great place to meet online. It's a free place for everyone to come in, and you give them the link, they join in, you tutor, and then they Zelle you. Life is grand. You can do it that way as well. No, it's just strategy. So that was a great question, Ariana.
Yes, yes.
Any other questions? No one asked how much we make a month. Honey, can you give them the numbers of how much you've pulled in one day?
Well, so there are times I pull in $500 a day, especially on Sundays.
Wow.
I love the reaction because people don't realize how much of an open field this is. That's how, and the increments are about an hour session long, and you can make some serious money. Now, you do have to realize that your money is slower in the summer, so you have to budget and count for that.
Yes.
So
yes.
even with that, that's why it's very important to be wide. So in the summer, I transitioned to tutoring students for the MCAT, the exam for medical school. And this exam, just one student one-on-one, is a very expensive. The prep companies, they charge a lot. They charge about $10,000 for a student to prepare for this course. And that's just it's a 8 weeks course. So the more you know, the more opportunities and the more money you can make. Yeah.